My my taper on the side is wild. I actually had a dream about my barber last night. I haven't seen him in like 4 weeks.
What?
Yeah, bro. Look at the side. Look at us, bro. Like the beard needs a trim. The taper is like at like a full inch length now. It's
Oh, I
been a
feel you.
minute. It's been a minute. Like I know
Like
I've been
everything
growing
is jacked up.
Yeah, all my fucking shit's off.
my chakras are all realigned right now. It's tragic.
Oh man. But yeah. All right. Well, this is welcome to another time of the Culture Body and Culture, folks. It's your boy Taylor B, with my co-hosts Daniel, DJ, and Joey. Make sure you guys follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Culture Body Uncultured, and also our podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, or follow whatever platform you're on. We're just gonna dive right in, man. It's been a full year since the show has been a thing. I'm actually super excited about it. To me, it's a huge milestone. Obviously, it's super easy to quit certain things, and there was definitely quite a few times where I wanted to quit. But I am definitely excited to say that we're here, we're still growing, and we want to continue growing too. Uh, just being around since the beginning, when it was like just an idea, starting off with Sam and Sunny. I had no idea how much work was actually going to go into this. I kind of just thought it was going to be a bunch of fun laughs and just good times. Oh, I'm talking to my friends and that's it. But no, it's a little bit more work than that for sure. I've also taken over editing duties, which is kind of cool. So I'm at the same time, especially with the coronavirus and all that stuff, I'm learning an entirely new skill, and that's pretty nice. I'm kind of getting more experience in that aspect. And of course, eventually, I want to start playing around with it a little bit more, doing more and more as time, dictates, and I can, learn and dedicate more time to the show itself. What are some of the things you guys are happy about? Or I mean, I'm sure you guys are excited just to, even be in the show at all. But I mean, happy 1 year anniversary, right?
Yeah, I think that other than probably being the one that's been here for the longest, other than yourself and obviously Sam and Sunny, who unfortunately aren't here right now, I think that it's been definitely a good opportunity for all of us to be able to get on our own wavelengths and be able to do what we want to do, talk what we want to talk about, and basically just try to get our opinion out there. I definitely want to see us grow into something a bigger channel platform. I know that I personally want to try to explore a little bit more gaming as it comes towards like streaming and stuff like that. But that all comes here and there. That's not really our biggest focus here. Obviously, we want to see how we can grow as a community and how we can grow as a group. But it's been a good year. I know I've only been here for about 20 of the episodes. There's been some times where I've been on a little hiatus myself. So, but looking forward to it. I think we're doing a really good job here.
Yeah, it's been a real good experience for myself. When you guys first started out, it was something different because, I was always listening to Joe Budden podcast or something like that. But you guys are my friends actually doing it. And I was just, oh, that sounds like an amazing trip that you guys could do that. So when you guys brought me on, it was really fun to do. So I've been enjoying it ever since.
That's great. What about you, Joey? I know you're kind of new, but
long time listener, 6-time guest. It's like my 6th time on the show, but you know what I'm saying? I was A1 from day one. I've been listening from jump. I remember my first two episodes were I think I was on a random one, and then I was on the 2 Flognaw episodes in November. And then this is like my 3rd week in a row now as an official, not just a guest. So I'm excited. I'm ready for year 2. You know what I mean? Just some healthy conversation. And actually, I showed 2 or 3 3 of my outside friends within the last week. I can't remember what episode. I think it was my first one where I was like, "Hey, check this out. It's my first one on here." And all good reviews, all back. They were like, "You guys sound like really like close." And we're like, "Well, we're not always around each other, but like the conversation has always been the same." So everything,
absolutely.
all the
Yeah.
topics that we cover, sports, anything that has to do with entertainment, gaming, and none of us are truly like we don't shy away from topics. So
Yep.
you know, I look forward
Hooray!
to the next year and hopefully more.
For sure.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday to
Yeah, I know, right?
the
Happy birthday to the potty. Congrats, boys. We made it a year. and it's only going to go up from here as well. Um, Unfortunately, another year has passed for another incident that occurred last year, the passing of Nipsey Hussle. I just kind of wanted to take a moment and maybe get like a 15-second moment of silence for Nipsey, for our fans, and we can just start that now. All right. I mean, as you guys, I don't know if you guys were able to see it or not, but there was like a ton of, in memoriam, basically, a lot of people sharing a lot of the quotes he gave us, sharing a lot of his music. I know Jonah Lucas was on Instagram yesterday saying like, if you're listening to my album, stop what you're doing and go listen to Nipsey's album right now. People were saying, praying for his wife, Lauren London. Uh, there was a lot of people who were, kind of just honoring his memory by, sharing things about him, stories, older videos. It was really nice to see, that he made such an impact. Um, and I've even seen somebody say that Nipsey Hussle was proof that impact to the game means more than actual sales, like record sales or whatever. And I mean, I agree with that too. I think that once you kind of solidify yourself in the culture at all, that you're doing yourself much more of a service as far as your longevity is concerned, versus if you come into the rap game, sell a couple million records, right off the rip, and then just fade away into non-existence, basically.
I got a quick story. I used to go see a few cats, but Nipsey was one of my original favorite rappers. It was Nipsey, Dom Kennedy, um, Kendrick, Cole, and Drake. And I kind of stumbled upon all of them around the same time, about 2007. I think I was listening to Kendrick by like 2006. We knew K Dot, and I knew Nipsey Hussle in like 2006, 2007. But I used to go see them cats. Not all them cats, but Dom Kennedy, Nipsey Hussle. Believe it or not, back then it was YG, Ty Dolla Sign, and a few other cats for like $10 down the street on Bonita Road at one of the sports bars that they used to turn
Dang.
into like, yeah, I used to go watch them cats for like 10 boodles. And back when Nipsey was spitting
Hmm. Those were the
Hustle in the
classics.
House, Bullets Ain't Got No Names, Volume 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? So like I still it still don't feel that real to me. I try not to. I honestly, I brush this one to the side because Nipsey is always one of my top five, not just within the recent years, not after Victory Lap, not after, you know what I'm saying. So this one did kind of hit me hard. Um, it still don't feel real, but I slapped the Nipsey on the weekly. So rest in peace to him, and hopefully, Black Sam and everybody else holding up.
Yeah, I got a death wish when it comes to that sometimes, just because I remember I always bump Nipsey Hussle. Like when I'm going through like a blood neighborhood, I'm throwing up some Nipsey Hussle music going through there. Not because I'm a crib or nothing like that. It's just because just out of respect. Um, we'll keep disrespect. To be honest with you, but I remember when I first heard him, it was on BET's Countdown with Free and all them, right? I see what you, but but I remember that it was a Nipsey Hussle song. Was he had the Crenshaw sweater on and everything? He was Hustle in the house, and they were like, "This is gonna be the next big hit. It's gonna be the next big rapper right here." And then I was just like, "Yeah, he's pretty dope, but I don't know if he has any more longevity after that." Yeah, I was wrong, but I definitely became a fan after that, and it was definitely one of those moments to where it was just like you really can't judge a book by its cover, because I thought it was just going to be straight up just only gangster rap, but he gave us so much news information, so much knowledge, and I fell in love with his music.
Yeah, it's just a trip. Like, when you think about it, like I know it's only been just about a year, but it's just a trip to think about stuff like Nipsey Hussle. We had Pop Smoke just die recently. I mean, you had Juice WRLD die within last year. It's only been not that long, and we've already lost such big influences in the music industry. I mean, just specifically for hip hop, I know there's been a bunch of deaths all around in every genre and every single way, especially with the coronavirus going on right now. But It's just a trip thinking about it now. Like I remember when X died not that long ago, and it just felt like after that first year had passed, it felt like man that felt like it just happened. Same thing with Nipsey. It just felt like not even a month ago that we were talking about this whole conversation about what happened and how all this stuff went down, and then all this massive rush for his music and how much he influenced what he was doing right now and what he was doing then. So I mean, I definitely think it's like it's obviously a trip. Obviously, I mean, a lot of prayers go out to the families and to everything that's going on, but I mean, we got to move on, and hopefully someone does step up, not sort of take over, but fill that role that he had left in the past. You know?
Facts, big facts, definitely. I mean, speaking of X, even too, like every time I hear one of his songs, it kind of like reignites almost for me. You know, it's like you kind of forget about it, and then like a song will play on, like "Rest in Peace, Roach," or "Take a Step Back" or anything with his voice in it. And I sit there and be like, dang man, like this kid's really gone. Like like a young dude so full of life. I'm same for Nipsey. Like same for Mac Miller too. Like people so young and like had plenty of years left and could have like done major things within their community, with the people around them, let alone just like the music culture, music genres, or hip hop in general. They could have made major strides, and it's just we'll never know what could have been now, because their time was cut short. Um, but speaking of major major players in the music game, right? You guys know Drake, right?
Kind of.
Yeah, of course. Who doesn't?
Exactly.
Wait, who?
So speaking of Drake, I don't know if you guys remember that song where he said something like, "I wasn't hiding my kid from the world. I was hiding the world from my kid," or something like that. Well, he showed us his kid. He showed us his kid, and the internet lost their ever loving minds.
It's so harsh, man. You can't win now. You can't win these days. It's horrible.
I don't think I ever seen more of a lack of disrespect for a child in my entire life. Like for
I mean,
they've gone as far as to, you remember the album cover for Nothing Was the Same? How it was like a picture of, like, I'm pretty sure that was a baby version of him, and then it was like his adult self, right? So they took that baby version of him and they just colored in the hair blonde, and they like made the skin like pretty much pale white to be like, oh, it's his son or whatever, And it's like people say, oh, this is what we thought he was going to look like, and this is what his son does look like.
His
But people,
full white.
yeah.
So
that's the
she looked.
that's people.
Just like her.
People are expecting that kid to have been like darker than me. It seems like I don't know what the hell's going on. Not understanding that Drake is half white basically, and then the woman is, I'm pretty sure, pretty much full white. So the kid is more white than Drake is. It's crazy.
He has his grandmother's hair, and
Yeah, he looks just like her.
It's not like the baby Drake's baby mom is like of color. I mean, she looks like the Crimson Chin. You know what I'm saying? So you knew the mayor. Yeah, you heard me. Yeah.
Oh man, I just feel like
it looks like Shirley Temple. No lie.
Some lady.
He's a baby.
And people are just going in for some reason. Some people say that's not his kid, and like, bro, he took a test. Like, he knows it's his kid. Like, I don't like.
Ridiculous. Absolutely.
Like, it's crazy, man. People have no respect, and it's kind of like, it sucks because even with this, it's like he can't win either way. Like you said, Joey, like he's either going to get roasted for not showing his kid, or be like, oh, like you're ashamed or something, or now he's getting roasted because he did show his kid. And everybody's like, oh my god, look how white this kid is. Look at his little afro and all. Like, it's just you try your best, and no matter what you do, you can't win.
Here's the thing: if the picture of this little boy went around social media on all platforms, he would have gotten a bunch of, oh my god, he's so cute. Look at his little eyes and his curls and blah. But because it's attached to Drake, then you get just the outpour of all this weird negativity.
He's stuck getting roasted for no reason.
And Drake, you should have kept hiding him from the world, okay? Like, I'm sorry. Whatever the thing was, you should have just kept doing it because you wasn't finna win. I'm just a little upset with everybody because, I mean, when DJ Khaled brought out Son of Assad or whatever it was, his son, he got like all the praise.
He been marketing that kid since he was born, bro.
He was an executive producer at like 4 months old. What did he produce, bro?
Yeah.
All he produced
For
was
real though.
All he produced was
Oh, man.
Dookie in his diapers. I don't understand, but now he's getting paid for it for the rest of his lifetime.
Yeah,
For one hit song on that album, by the way, was it Wild Thoughts with Rihanna and them? That was like one hit song on that album.
probably the most popular song at that time too.
And does
Um,
DJ Khaled even make music, or does he just have
He
five
just
producers
produces.
that make his beat? No, he has people that make his beats, and he does the final mixes. He does.
well, he's more like, I feel like you get established to a certain level, I feel like, in the game, and then like that's when you can be like the feature, or like the artist featuring somebody, and it's like, I feel like when you first start out you can't do that as a producer, but once you get established, like I'm sure Dr. Dre could do that. There's probably plenty of other
Whoa.
artists I could say. No. I'm not, no disrespect to Dr. Dre, because he can actually
Dr.
he can
Dr.
got the
Dre still
talent.
Dr. Dre still get on the keys and make.
Yeah, but I'm just saying in general, more like less so like vocally. There's not many producers that can put out an album and then like featuring somebody else. You know, like DJ Khaled is always putting out music and then he's and putting features on there. I don't know how many times I've seen, or even like somebody featuring DJ Khaled, but it's like he's not really saying anything, or like really vocally like, "We the best, I got the keys," like something like that. But it's never like he's never like spinning the whole like 16 or something, like.
There's never nothing
And
substance other than an actual like
Oh,
production
yeah.
quality. But I mean, you see
yeah,
the same thing. You see the same thing happen with a lot of like house and music, like DJs. Like you think about David Guetta and like people like that. They make a lot of music and they never say a word. David Guetta and Tiesto and all that sort of stuff. Cruella, Cruella's I guess a little bit
It's also
different.
a
They
different
actually-
crowd.
Yeah,
I was
completely.
gonna say a different crowd, but like, and that's the focus too, is the music. In hip hop, it is not necessarily the beat or the music; it's more the vocals. Without a rapper, then it's not hip hop. It's just
So
it's just a beat.
would you call him hip hop though? Like for real?
Like, called DJ Khaled, I'd say like more pop.
I'd say
I
he's
know
more
pop.
pop than
Yeah, it's
anything.
definitely pop.
Yeah, but I just mean like in the genre in general, like he's not. But I mean, I would say he's more pop, but I definitely feel like he falls into that hip hop category. Like if people were gonna like put him in a category specifically, I feel like most people are gonna say hip hop, because that's usually who he's working with, somebody that's either a hip hop artist or R&B artist, which like people mesh those together all the time too, hip hop or R&B being under a hip hop umbrella or something, But I mean, I just feel like it's one thing, of course, to make the music and to make the beats and all that stuff, and a lot of guys don't even do that. Like try to take credit for like, I need to be on that feature tag on your track list or whatever. When the single drops, my name got to be right there too. You may be able to go in like Spotify or Tidal or whatever and actually find the credits of who made this song. You may be able to find who actually produced this song, put it together. Even the freaking samples that are in the song, right?
Yeah.
But there's only a handful of producers that are like, I need to be in those, like that feature credit right there. Like, bro, you said two things. I need to be in that feature credit. Like, okay, all right, we got it. Shoot.
I was in the booth and I sneezed, and you could hear it in the middle. Right.
That's my vocals. That's my vocals.
Ain't nothing but COVID. But yeah, but
I think you got to scoot closer to the mic.
Oh, you think so? You can't hear me? What about here?
Nah, it's a little choppy.
How about now? How about now?
I can hear you. You good? You good?
Is it better? All right. Yeah, I was just saying that. Yeah, especially with DJ Khaled, like I was saying when we brought him up, he's obviously not the rapper. He's obviously not the one putting the songs in, because the random times he decides to talk, it's the worst time. Like, bro, you obviously didn't listen. You didn't put this together. You would have known not to put your voice right here in the middle of the middle of the verse, the middle of somebody saying something profound. DJ Khaled, I'm like, bro, hey, shut up. It's the wrong spot. But that's all I can do. I can pretty much expect from him. It's just a playlist and him just saying the wrong things at the wrong time. But I do give him a shout out for his artists that he does put together, like how we said last year, that he does have a knack for putting the right artists on the same beats with other artists.
It was funny that you say all that stuff about Khaled, about all the. I was talking about what Brandon was saying. It was a little funny what you said about how he's like has to be on that producer tag, has to be like that guy that you have to put me in those credits. Because when you talk about that, there's something I want to talk about a little bit early, or later on what I'm messing with, but I'll go ahead and bring it in now since we're talking a little bit about producers. I was listening to Ninth Wonder. I missed his last album, and it's hard to call a producer's album really an album because for him, it's all production. It is all just straight music. It's all old vibes, old beats. It's a good album if any of you guys want to check it out. But when you talk about Ninth Wonder, like Ninth Wonder's always been one of my favorite producers. I listened to him when he was with Murs and Little Brother, and he's done all these good vibe and a good sound. But Ninth Wonder doesn't really do that sort of stuff, and it kind of made me think. Like you're kind of right in the sense where there's a lot of these artists that are like, I need to be in that tag or I need to be featured. But if you don't know about Ninth Wonder, like if you've never heard from him, then it's gonna be kind of hard to know where this music comes from, where this beat comes from, unless you search it up. But that album that he just made is called Zion the Fourth. It just dropped on December 13th. I know it's been like 3 months, but for me, I missed it because we were talking about so much stuff, and there was obviously holiday season and Corona going around, so I definitely missed it. So that's one of my shout outs I want to bring out for this podcast. He's a really good producer, someone that if you like those old classic rap, classic hip hop type of vibes, that's all him right there, and he has that sound that's perfect for it.
Yeah, if you want to talk about the old Drake too, that's the epitome of Drake right there. Is when he was working with Ninth Wonder on Comeback Season. So if you want to hear what Drake's supposed to be sounding like today, I feel if he had stuck with Ninth Wonder the entire time, if you go back and listen to Comeback Season and then listen to Drake now, you can definitely see how much of a different artist he is. Because the Drake everybody talks bad about now would never get talked about the way he was back in the day when he was with Ninth Wonder.
Can y'all see? Is he moving? Is he moving to your screen?
No, his video connection is not with it right now.
He straight up froze.
All of you are focusing on my screen right now. All of you.
I was like, how is he talking right now?
As long as we get the audio with him.
Yeah, the audio's fine. If you gotta hang up, it's fine too, for sure.
The audio was iffy for Daniel with me not too long ago.
Yeah.
Hearing every other word, so
it's all right. Hopefully it'll be all right. I'll check it out obviously when I edit it. But since we're on the topic of artists still anyways, a lot of artists obviously have been arrested over the years. To name a couple specifically, Tekashi 6ix9ine, for a lot of stuff. One of the biggest things was Murder for Hire. Shout out to Bill Exotic, but Tekashi 6ix9ine, R. Kelly, YNW Melly, he was arrested because supposedly they think he killed his two friends. Who else is R. Kelly, of course, for the brazenly wild stuff he was doing with those little girls. And a lot of these guys are actually trying to get out because of the coronavirus. So first and foremost, R. Kelly it's kind of been the talk like, oh, he's trying to get out because of the corona. Somebody made a joke saying that if it was the COVID-15, he'd be all right. He wouldn't care. YNW Melly actually ended up contracting coronavirus. Apparently, he's tested positive for it, and he's trying to get out based off of that. It looks like a lot of people were saying that it looked like his case was going good for him anyway, and that more than likely he was going to be released due to lack of evidence. But now he's trying to get out just to go to hospital, and because they're not prepared, their facilities aren't prepared to handle that in the jails or whatever. And then this will kind of run us back into a later topic. I can't even read that. What does that say?
Washington State stay-at-home order.
It's set until May 4th for us over here.
Oh, wait. Yeah, we just got it till, Trump said till April 30th, but I mean, y'all got it till May 4th. Dang, may the 4th be with you. But Tekashi 6ix9ine, apparently there was a little bit of a joke going around, April Fool's Day of jokes. There's a lot of them actually going around. One of them was that Tekashi 6ix9ine was going to get released. And they were already talking about the coronavirus concerns. I'd already discussed that he was denied because he had to talk to the BOP. So what ended up being a joke ended up apparently coming true, and now he is supposedly walking these streets, or he's about to be walking these streets. So I'm definitely I'm curious as to what he's going to do. Now that the coronavirus is out, and people aren't outside, that's a much less of a threat for him going back into society than it would have been, maybe a couple weeks ago. So now I'm wondering if he's just going to still be stupid, maybe go on the internet, act a fool on Instagram and all that stuff, and not really care about everything else, or if he's just going to go through with his plan that he said, where he wanted to have security, protection, and all that stuff, and make sure that he was safe or whatever.
I think he's very lucky because
Oh yes, indeed.
you're getting out right now, and Cats is not supposed to be outside.
Hella lucky
You blessed for that one,
for real.
man. But
I think he spent like a year, like a month or so, in actual like in jail. So
it was since I would say November of 2018.
something like that. Yeah,
So he spent all of 2019, and now we're at the beginning. 3 months in, 4 months in. So that's why. What a time! What a time to head on out. But that's
indeed.
that's
I had
crazy.
no idea it had been that
Uh,
long. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah. I mean, people have been talking about him for months still. He's been so relevant as far as like his case and things like that. So it's kind of like you never really had a chance to miss him. So it kind of feels like he just went in almost still, you know? I know he was supposed to serve 2 years in total, it looks like, but I mean, he's not even going to serve that. It looks like shit. Um, Speaking of somebody else who was just sentenced too, Kodak Black, I don't know if you guys were aware of this, but got sentenced to 46 months initially for his gun charge. And now he's going to get another 12 months for the other charge. I forget. I think one was falsifying his name on a document or something, or him trying to purchase a weapon because he's a felon. And then this is another gun charge, and it's another 12 months, but they're going to be served concurrently, which means that he basically won't even serve it. So I mean, you know, that's another blessing right there. Like, you ain't got to do no additional time or nothing. So phew,
That's
he
so
kind of dodged one
dumb.
too.
That's so dumb. Why are you gonna make me? So pretty much, you're telling me the same time you're serving right now, we're gonna account that same time into it. So we're giving you a free 12 months or whatever. But we just need to make this official with paperwork. But you're not serving more time, bro. You might as well did a few more things if they was gonna give you the same time. You might as well have stole a car, like a few extra folks. Like what?
Right,
Oh man, for real.
I mean, don't get me. I'm not trying to sound like a hater. Good for him. But that's just come on.
It's crazy what you can get away with when you got a little bit of money, for sure.
Man, if I knew
sure.
if I knew he was going to be this lucky, I would have told him, "Hey, actually go for Lauren London, see what happens. You might get it at this point."
Man,
Oh wow.
Oh my god.
like guys like that, man, they don't get no love from the streets, bro.
Yeah, this is
They
true.
don't get no love from the streets.
I mean, folks from Florida love Kodak though, still. But I mean, like overall, like
I don't understand why.
Folks from where?
Florida.
Florida's crazy, man.
You mean Panhandle, Florida? You mean the place where they literally they raise their kids on bath salts, like that Florida? Come on, bro. The craziest things happen in Florida. You seen Tiger King? You seen that a lot of you seen old girls thing was in Florida and that's where they was trying to kill girl? Come on, man.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
We need to go right in.
I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just put the spoiler alert right out there right now. I mean, I know for sure Joey has seen Tiger King. I don't know about you, Daniel. Maybe you did a little bit of research. I told DJ.
I refuse to
I
get
know
Netflix,
told
bro.
DJ a little bit about it. It's look, man. First and foremost, white people are crazy. I can't even.
We've known this.
Netflix has this thing where like they're just kind of showing how like crazier and crazier white people can get. I know like the first kind of wild documentary I heard about on Netflix was Abducted in Plain Sight, where it's like a dude was like he was like watching somebody's kid and they kept kidnapping them and then bringing them back and then he like slept with the mama and the daddy and all kinds of crazy shit. Just wild stuff. So now this documentary, you would just off the title alone, you wouldn't really think too much. You're like, oh, we're about to see like what it's like to own privately owned tigers or something, nothing crazy. But then you really get into the meat and potatoes of it and you find out, oh, these niggas that got this stuff, oh, they batshit crazy. All of them are addicts to some degree or have had addiction problems in the past. Everybody missing teeth, smoking meth, got wild tattoos. Just the liveliest characters you've ever seen in your life. First of all, I don't even know if Oklahoma, if in Oklahoma gay marriage is legal, let alone the fact that he married two people at the same time.
Bro,
what?
Oklahoma college football and Tigers, bro. Who would have known? Who would have known?
Man,
Really, what else do they got?
The biggest thing I took away from that documentary though was the fact that they confirmed there's 5 to 10,000 living tigers in the United States alone, just the United States.
The
And there's
stats
less
were
and
crazy.
there's less than 4,000 in the wild in their natural habitats.
And
Bruh, what?
Yeah.
it was so crazy. It was so crazy too. The lady Carol Baskins, she basically like would talk down upon every other person that pretty much owned wild tigers or whatever, or had like a wild animal park basically, right? But she's doing the same thing, bro. Ain't no difference. There's no difference, sir. You're doing the same thing. Let alone the fact that the only person that was actually paying their workers was Joe Exotic. She wasn't even paying people, bro. She had them wearing shirts basically to determine how long they have been there. Basically, that's all she was doing. And you're working. You're here feeding the time. All right, you're doing it for free though. Go ahead and put that red shirt on. Go ahead and put that green shirt on. Like what?
Not to mention, she said, "I usually don't even recognize anybody until they've been here for about 5 years."
But she said that, and I said, "Excuse me."
Bro, I would feel so disrespected as a human. Bro,
You don't know who. I've been here how long? You don't know who, bro. And tell me there's no way in hell that I would ever. I could be in the worst position of my life. I would never take a job feeding tigers for about $138 a week.
Bro,
Are you out of your mind?
Episode 2 of that documentary was literally old girl that was working there got her arm ripped off by a tiger, and Joe Exotic walk into like his like gift shop at the front of the place, and he tells everybody pay attention real quick. I need to tell you something before you hear it on the news. One of the keepers put her arm in the cage, and the tiger ripped her arm off, and everybody was quiet. He was like, "Okay, so maybe you guys come back another day, or if you want a refund, we can do that." It's like I don't care about your
Nonchalant, yeah.
Super nonchalant.
And then all he had to say, and like behind the scenes, was, "I'll never recover from this financially." But this lady arm is gone forever.
They're doing a dramatic series about it, though. Did you hear that? They're doing a new dramatic series about it.
Oh man, the guy who
popular.
The guy who made the documentary said that he has more footage and they could maybe release it to some degree, like in pieces or whatever. But he said like the likelihood of like an actual season 2, like a follow up or something like that, is not likely. He's like, I could release more footage of what I have, but he's like, there's probably no way I could probably get these people to do it again, because he said a lot of it was more based off the fact that they were kind of doing it themselves already. A lot of them were recording themselves, trying to get big on social media, trying to get more followers. Like Joe Exotic had he had a little show with like a whole other producer or whatever, some like meth head that used to be a freaking an anchorman or whatever, and then like so all of them were doing something as far as like trying to get their name out there, trying to get a notice put on camera, basically, trying to get big or whatever, right? That one guy in particular, though, Dr. Bhagavan or whatever the heck his name was, that the dude that basically was running the cult, bro, like, first and foremost, I don't know how people get put into those situations where you calling somebody Lord. Like, I don't understand that. Like, everything about that, like, as soon as somebody be like, just so you know, please address me as Lord or like Sire or something, King, like, I'm out. I'll see y'all later. I'm going back to the streets. Like, what am I doing here? What are you crazy? I'm not calling you that. You got me fucked up. A whole call. I think this dude had like 6 like ladies basically, right? And they were just pretty much living in terrible conditions. He wasn't paying them, and he was just putting the tigers out of their misery. Like, all right, you're about a year and a half on. You ain't bringing in no more customers. It's a wrap. And leave that tiger right there. I'll take him. Don't worry. We got a customer coming to pick him up. In the middle of the night, gunshot, bang. Never see that tiger again.
Let me chime in real quick. I've seen a handful of documentaries, and what I realized after watching this again is that they could have been selling anything. It just happened to be tigers. This is something that happens with country folk. Country folk don't know how to act. You can't tell them what to do. You can't tell them what's theirs and what's not theirs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't tell. this could have been like exotic turtles, and they could have been selling, and it would have been the same fiasco. It's country folk is weird, bro. Like it happened to be
He
tight.
got the alligator in there. He the alligator man.
I I was actually, and they had some gators. Remember when they burned down the? Oh,
They burned down the whole studio.
do you think Joe set that up himself?
Yes, hell yes.
He hella
Ain't no. Yes, absolutely.
he burned down his own recording studio with all that footage and his husband's gators. Hey, ain't it funny to be gay and own gators? Hey, that brings me to another question. How y'all gonna be sitting there, gay as hell, surrounded by all that big pussy?
Wow.
Oh my god. That I ain't gonna lie though. That scene with the boy from California and the campaign manager. First of all, if I seen something like that, I feel like he was. I would have ran. I would have moved. I'd have been shouting like crazy, like moving. He just kind of hit one of. He had just like that facial reaction. It's like, oh.
Here's the part where they had me messed up. Here's the part where they had me, because they actually they tapped into the drug scene too. Pretty much both those guys said, yeah, I wasn't really gay at all, but you know, he gave me everything I wanted, so I kind of played it. Shut up. That's none of my homies. Come on, bro. Come on, fam. I'm sorry. And the memes are going crazy. The memes are going wild right now. So
absolutely, Carol Baskin's that bitch.
Hey, Joe blamed everything on Carol Baskin the same way Freddy from Scooby Doo is always talking about, is that red herring? Like it was the same energy. It was so funny.
I know who did it. It was Carol Baskins. Oh my! Back to her actually. What you think about her and her husband? You think she did it?
Did you hear what OJ said? OJ said her husband is Tiger Sushimi. He literally said she chopped him up and fed him to the come on, man. What does she need him for after that?
For real. You know what's so crazy too though is that like even if let's say for like let's say she did it right, and or let's say she didn't do it right. How can you be such an evil person that you want to just take everything from his family? You want to take everything, like even like, okay, I get he was your worst enemy, but you trying to take everything from Joe and his mama's house or whatever. Like you trying to take everything from everybody. You got no heart, no heart.
Had no soul.
Hell have no fury.
She had no soul.
And just the way she laughed all the time, bro. At every serious little moment, he might have disappeared. He might be dead. I don't know. Bitch, what?
Think about these two people, the two main characters, or I don't want to call them characters. The two main people in this documentary is Carol Baskin and Joe Maldonado / he took all his lovers' names, which is kind of weird. I thought you were the alpha or whatever. But these two people had troubled pasts. You remember they talked about Carol Baskin got raped by 3 neighbors that lived across the street, and the parents pretty much disowned her and said, well, your impurities were brought upon yourself, which is, it was a different time. Okay. And then Joe Exotic, him being gay from the time he was a young teenager, his dad made sure that his mom agreed to not let Joe at his father's funeral because he was homosexual.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Both of them having like those really like traumatic experiences growing up and then becoming adults and being all territorial and demanding. Neither of them were gonna let the other person have the upper hand no matter what. And I'm actually surprised it didn't come down to like a shootout with each other's camps.
Well, I mean, shoot, he tried to kill her. Had about 3 racks ready. Had 3 racks, 3,000. That's it. I'm gonna need about at least 15. I need to get out of here.
Joe himself, for damn sure he was on some drugs too. It wasn't just his husbands and
I
on some drugs.
I definitely wish that the documentary would have gone into some detail about how how like that how much maybe like was like going on with that with the whole meth addiction thing, you know, because a lot of those people were messed up, and a lot of those people were supposedly like, oh, like they were addicts, and then Joe like gave them a chance, and it was like, you know, something for them to do. They had a place to stay, had a place to eat or whatever, right? But I'm curious as to how much like was being spent on drugs in general, and hell, even if maybe he had his own like he had his own production going on, you know, like who knows? Because it doesn't really dive into that. It just people are admitting to have taken drugs or have been on drugs or whatever, but nobody's ever said like, oh, like man, we getting high all the time, every day. We spend about 3 racks on you know however much meth every week. Like, you know, I kind of want to. I kind of want to know what those numbers would have been like, just because, hell, I mean, feeding the tigers and all that stuff, even like, you know, the numbers they were throwing out as far as feeding one tiger per year, or whatever, like how much he was like spending like 10 grand a month or something like that. It was just crazy numbers. And I was like, well, how are you paying for all this? Like, I know you got people coming out here, but ain't no way you can support this. So buy all these people whatever they want, you know, as far as like his husbands or whatever. They were saying getting trucks all the time. He had all kinds of ATVs. You got building all these cages and stuff. Ain't no way you can support that. What the heck? And a drug habit? There's no way.
Hey man, we gotta get away from this because I could talk about this all day. There was so many things to touch on.
Yeah, white folks was crazy, man.
I mean, speaking of drugs though, I see some on the docket right here. Let's get into these challenges, bro, because people be doing these challenges like it's crack. Okay? Everybody
People-
locked in the house.
Yeah, they
everybody
ain't got
locked in the
nothing else
house,
to do.
and you got nothing else to do, and you tired of doing the same stuff over and over and over and over and over again. And now there's these challenges.
Folks definitely got to calm down with these challenges. I can't name the amount of times I've seen. I don't normally do this, but play along or whatever, you know. And I'm just like, I played along with one thing because I thought it was kind of an intelligent one. It was like a little like a mind game one or whatever. You read it a certain way, and then you find out, oh, it's not even a question or whatever, right? And I had like 2 people like reply to me, and they reposted it or whatever, right? But I started seeing one. I think the first night that it came out. Have you seen the Until Tomorrow one?
Where it's supposedly supposed to be an embarrassing photo.
Yeah. So I liked one of like an old homegirl from high school or whatever. I liked her photo, and then she inboxed me talking about, okay, play along. Like this long ass message, and I was like, ignore. I just deleted that shit. I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not. I'm not doing this. I'm not getting caught up in all this bullshittery. Or even the push up challenge, C10 do 10 or whatever, bro. One of my boys, shout out to my boy Brown. No offense, Brown. He tagged like 20 people in a video he did of him doing like 10 push-ups, and I was like, oh man, this nigga done tagged me in this video. I'm not doing it. You know? I had to acknowledge it for him, you know. I was like, I ain't gonna do it, but you know. But good job, though, man. It's good for him. Good for him.
Hey,
I see you out there.
Why aren't you doing it though? I mean, we're doing push-ups and fucking sit-ups and all this other shit every day anyway. Might as well just do it.
Exactly. I'm already doing it. Why do I need to record myself doing it and be like, I'm gonna nominate this person and this person and this person? I'm not doing all that.
He's
I'm
only
not
motivated
doing
by
that.
the game, DJ. That's what you're missing out on the whole thing.
So you're not doing the shot challenge either?
The point is the
Absolutely.
challenge itself.
The shot challenge is crazy because I didn't see people getting tagged by like 3 or 4 different people, and they just keep throwing up shots, and I'm like, I know we home, but calm down. You might develop a habit. You might develop a habit before we go outside again.
I've been challenging a bunch of big booty females to the booty in my DMs challenge. The booty in my DMs challenge. We gonna keep that one going.
Oh man,
it slowed down recently, but I feel a second wave coming in.
And low key, I'm kind of getting tired of this too. I mean, it's fun to a degree because you kind of get some of the old songs, you know, but they get a little bit long winded. A lot of these like celebrity like catalog challenges, like, you know, like I think they're doing one this Saturday with T-Pain versus I forget who. I know they just did Lil Jon versus Scott Storch. You know what I'm talking about.
T-Pain gonna win no matter who we go up against.
Yeah.
T-Pain got slaps up and down.
But there's a lot of people who are really talented, but it's kind of like it just gets tiring after a while. They're always claiming to do it for like an hour, and then it goes on for like 3-4 hours, and you're just like, all right, bro, are y'all done? Like, what's going on?
This makes me so happy that I don't have social media because I don't have to suffer like y'all. Everything that just pops up on my screen all the time, all these different things I'm being invited to, I don't got to worry about none of that since I don't.
It feeds. Honestly, I wish I could live without social media, but me being a creative soul, I feed off of it. So sometimes I see something that kind of sparks or triggers something else. So I can't seem to get away from it, but I could definitely live without social media for weeks at a time. Just like, let me,
For sure.
I'm over this, you know.
Yeah.
But look what we doing here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We broadcasting via social media and stuff.
Yeah.
Without
Working as people
without
talk.
social media, we'd have never got that Corona song from Joey. I was very inspired.
I'm gonna have to record a good, now that I got the good mic and everything, and you know, I'm gonna have to record a real version of that. It was a Controller by Drake, but I'll switch up the words to Corona. And actually, I got a lot of response on that when people are like, "Bro," because I uploaded on Snapchat, so you know you can only do a minute at a time. But I
Yeah.
did almost the full song. It was like 2.5 minutes, and people are like, "Bro, you gotta record it. I gotta share it. I gotta do this." I'm like, "Bro, you know what? I don't feel comfortable trying to get a little bit of name for myself off of being ignorant on a stupid thing that I was.
You gotta make a music video with it though. You can't just make this a song. You gotta make a music video, full production value and everything.
Nah.
My mom's playing tricks on me style. Just go ahead and do it.
Weeks ago now.
Speaking of tricks, what's the best April Fool's prank you guys saw yesterday?
The best one I saw was this guy I follow on YouTube. He put up this video that said, "Oh, I'm done with my channel. I'm quitting." And everybody was like, "Aha, yeah, right, April Fool." But he actually left. He actually left.
I'm not
He
playing.
deleted his entire channel. He's gone.
Wow. I seen a couple yesterday. My least favorite one, personally, was a while back I talked about this Power Rangers Unworthy thing, right? Where like the Arbiter is like killing Power Rangers from like a bunch of different, like a whole multiverse of Power Rangers, and the creator of it was like, "Oh man, congrats! Thanks to you guys, Netflix decided to pick up the show as a mini series on Netflix, And he was like, we're already doing the casting call, and it was like not like super big people, so I was like, it was real believable. And then he got down to like himself, and it was like R.J. Seiler, who was in the actual like big Power Rangers movie that came out in 2017. And then I was like, oh, I see what's going on here. But people were biting so hard, bro. And he was like, I don't know, man. We haven't talked to Chris Evans yet, so we're gonna try to get him on the show and stuff. And I was like, bro, come on now. Y'all really fall for this right now? Y'all ain't right. You ain't right for this. That won't hurt.
I got they did me yesterday, man. They did me. They got me yesterday. It was this girl, man. She told me, hey, she said, come over. Nobody home. So I went over and nobody was home.
He's just that no one was home.
Nobody's home.
I mean, she wasn't lying.
That's true. She said April Truth. A couple more that I had seen though. I seen somebody said Playboi Carti dropped A Whole Lot of Red, which is like the new album that's been supposed to come out for like 2 years now. They said he dropped it on Tidal or Google Play or some shit. Didn't happen. They said Travis Scott announced Rodeo 2, and people were hyped. And then of course, all April Fools. This is another one that hurt too, low key, like to my core, because I was like, I started looking for it. Somebody sent out a screenshots of a bank account, and it said that it was like the stimulus check for COVID-19, and like it looked legit. And then I got the guy with the April Fools, and I was like, y'all ain't right. Y'all playing with money now? Oh, come on now.
Yeah.
I'm playing with my money.
Come on, big worm. Play on my money is like play on my emotions.
For real. I was like, oh no, y'all ain't right. Y'all ain't right. But yeah, that's crazy though. But that pretty much wraps it up. I mean, congratulations on the 1 year, guys. We in this, and we gonna keep going.
Good year, man. It's been a good. Oh, let's also talk about. Oh, you already brought it up. You said that the nationwide Trump did the
extension.
Oh, yeah.
He extended it through April 30th now. So
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. Is there any new movies or anything coming out? I know we usually
no movies coming out.
Research pretty well.
Yeah. All I've heard so far is just more delays after more delays. That's it. I haven't heard nothing coming out. I don't know why people even and this is unfortunate. The newest one I heard about for a delay, Morbius, the Sony Spider-Man spinoff film, It was supposed to come out in July, which is like they're saying that this is supposed to hopefully die out by the summer or whatever. It got delayed till next year. So
Yeah, I saw that too.
so it ain't looking good for the film industry
That
right
means
now.
that probably means like a bunch of people got it, like on the crew or something like that. That has to be it. They were like, everybody stay away now.
Well, with 200,000 people, there's like more than 300 million people in America. When you really think about the number, 200,000 people are confirmed cases. That's not very many people at all. So, I mean, I'm sure it's spreading more and more. There's probably people that may have it that don't know they have it yet. But it's just like it's just crazy how like you think about how the panic has spread out so far, and the virus is still somewhat contained. But I mean, they're taking precautions, of course, and everybody's trying to stay inside. So
That actually brings up some. There was reports today from some college up in or university up in Pittsburgh that they're working on a
A
vaccine.
cure. Yeah, vaccine. I saw that. I saw that today too.
And I had my homeboy do research on it for me while I was at work, so I couldn't read into it. But he was like, "Bro, it sounds legit. They're testing on animals. They've only done a few people, or blah blah." So hopefully, if we can get some kind of vaccine, maybe we can return back to everyday regular life that we've been accustomed to. But I'm hoping that everybody going through this actually learns something, man. Actually takes this and progresses from it, not just like, oh, back to normal. Let's go acting ratchet again.
Wash
Let's go be nasty. Let's
your
keep it real.
hands.
Like wash your
stop
motherfucking-
sneezing into your hand, stop coughing into your hand. Do that in the elbow so that your hand is good, and make sure you wash your hands. Facts.
I can't believe that people are like that. That's not like common knowledge. That's just like rude and disrespectful. How you gonna sneeze like right next to someone with your mouth open and not fucking covering your mouth and shit? I just thought that was second nature, but I mean, yeah. Hopefully, this does change people's way that they act more healthy. I guess you can say.
I remember literally one of our drill sergeants in basic training literally had to tell people, stop coughing in your hands and cough in your elbow. And we would get smoked if we coughed in our hands.
Wow.
It's just like a lot of people don't realize that, but I mean, shit, hey.
Well, I hope that vaccine comes within the next few weeks because I'm over it. Man.
I'm worried about what's going to be in that vaccine because Cat Williams said it best way back in the day. The vaccine is always worse than what you already got. So
I'm just okay. So the lockdown right now, we're trying to prevent it. So honestly, it takes 2 to 3 months. So they've extended it through April, but I'm almost for certain it's going to go through May. The vaccine for me is important because I'm trying to feel more comfortable about a second wave possibly coming because it's hard with viruses because as soon as it goes away for the majority, all it takes is for a handful of people to not be past it yet and possibly keep spreading it. So it's one of those things where, man, you don't know you got people in India right now. The Indian police is beating people with wooden sticks, like kendo sticks and stuff. Get your ass in the house, crack. Like the Philippines, their government talking about we about to start taking people's heads off if we see you outside.
I seen that shoot to kill order. Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
So, it's in a sense, I kind of renamed this virus Wu-Tang because it ain't nothing to fuck with.
wow.
And on that note, guys, we'll wrap up the show with something we're messing with. If you guys got anything, I'll start off first. Maybe you guys can think of something if you guys don't have something already. But Netflix has All American Season 2. I actually saw a couple people talking about it. I didn't know if they were watching it on something like Hulu or something because I know it's a show on actual like cable. But the Season 2 was released recently on Netflix, and it's pretty good. The show pretty much focuses on this kid, Spencer James, and his pretty much dealing with having to somewhat leave his family in like the hood and go over to Beverly Hills, live with a coach out there. And you find out, the coach is connected to his mom and all kinds of stuff, cheating allegations. He makes new friends, kind of connects Beverly Hills to the hood and stuff, and it's a good series all around. It's a drama, but it's pretty. It's good for kind of seeing a community come together because that's kind of what pretty much the premise of the show is. The community is constantly coming together. Friends are constantly coming together to help each other and lift each other up and just do whatever needs to be done in the in total. And it's kind of interesting because in real life, I don't know that there is that kind of dynamic. Like when it comes to like serious ghettos or like and like rich areas, this is like a serious contrast of like rich versus poor, and then him being kind of like the bridge, like that makes it so that his friends from the hood are hanging out with his rich friends, and so on and so forth. Of course they butt heads at first or whatever, but things pick up, and it gets real serious pretty fast. So check it out if you guys get a chance.
For me, anybody who's listening to this in Southern California, check out the Shots Fired Battle Rap League. They are going to start doing open tryouts as soon as this COVID thing lifts. If you're into battle rap, if you're into just rap in general, just going out having a good time with a crowd. Once we're actually safe to do that again and all that, I definitely guys would check that out. They do events out in Oceanside. They do events down here in La Jolla and Ocean Beach, Pacific Beach, and all that stuff. So definitely be on the lookout for them. They're on Facebook. They're on YouTube. It's called Shots Fired Battle Rap League.
I'm for the something I'm messing with. I'm actually gonna see if I can pull this off. Something I'm messing with is this meme right here because this this have me rolling. This is Jerome from Martin, and it says, I see you not staying inside at home. I guess you want that Roni Rome." Man, I said Jerome's in the watch. That's all I can think of right now, man. Social media just doesn't know how to handle tragedy and pandemic. We don't know what to do with ourselves, bro. Ever since we got computers, laptops, and cell phones, I got video and games and all that stuff. Anything tragic, bro, there could be a meteor on its way to Earth, and people be doing selfies with the meteor coming from behind. Like, this is it, y'all. We don't know how.
Yeah, I saw
live streaming that meteor.
I saw a theme on. It was a meme on social media one time. It said that video game addiction is a mental illness. And then as soon as some type of pandemic hits, it's just like, video games can help you get through anything.
It's the most healthiest option. That they just dropped that for the COVID-19, a new study. I just saw that too. And I guess I'll kind of wrap it up with what I'm messing with. I know I talked a little bit about Ninth Wonder earlier, but one more thing I want to talk about in light of all this COVID-19 coronavirus stuff. There's a movie that did come out a long time ago in 2011. It's called Contagion. So this movie, like I said, it came out in 2011. It is basically a movie almost, if you're a conspiracy theorist, if you're someone that likes to see these kind of similarities between now and what movies are going on, this movie is the perfect representation of what's going on. It's a little bit more of an exaggerated aspect. Basically, it's roughly the same thing. It's a virus outbreak, respiratory virus that has the same sort of similarities as SARS, which is exactly what we're seeing now with the coronavirus. It came from bats, came from China, goes from person to person. People are quarantined. People are locked in their homes. There's riots. It obviously is a super extreme idea and look at what can happen. The death rate on that is a lot higher than what the coronavirus is, but it's just something that if you want to take a look at what society could dissolve into, and a sort of kind of like another mindset to think about or to look at. Go ahead and give it a watch. Like I said again, it's called Contagion. It stars Gwyneth Paltrow, Lawrence Fishburne, Matt Damon, and it just follows basically this whole 130-day period in a very condensed amount of time on what happens during this time of when the virus were to spread and how society as a whole kind of dissolves. Kind of like how it is right now. I know we haven't seen a lot of riots here, but I know that in other places have been riots, and there have been places where people are just taking advantage of the situation that people aren't locked in their homes and no one's really out. So it's definitely something that you should give a watch if you do want to see what can happen. Obviously, it's a extreme case, but it is something that I watched with my wife the other day.
So, looking it over here for Contagion, I think the only streaming service that has it with part of the actual subscription is Hulu.
So Hulu, yeah,
everywhere else is charging. So it's on Hulu though, if for the Frizzy with your subscription. I'm gonna actually check it out. Haven't seen that.
For sure, guys. And I mean, if there's nothing else, this has been another installment of Culture of the Uncultured. We have been your hosts, Daniel, DJ, Joey, and Taylor B. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Culture by the Uncultured. Also, don't forget to follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Once again, that's at Culture by the Uncultured. And rate us on Apple Podcasts, hopefully 5 stars, and leave us some comments on YouTube, and of course, we'll get back to them. Catch you guys next time. Peace out, Piglets.
Pew, pew.